Life can be difficult, but it is no reason to go out of our way to make it more so. How do we do this? One way is to make comparisons as to what others have and what we do not possess. Paul addresses what I would call the poor me syndrome in 2 Corinthians 10, verse 12. My name is Dave Hughes, and this is Glory Bound Ministry. For we do not presume to rank or compare ourselves with some of those who commend themselves. But when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they have no understanding. Let me simply state that Paul is addressing a worldly problem. He says, we do not presume to rank or compare ourselves with some of those who commend themselves. Paul is saying he does not even think about comparing himself to others. What are the metrics we use for comparison? Money, things, power, influence, holiness. Oh, the list is endless. I expect comparisons are as numerous as there are people. Who do we compare ourselves with? Paul says, with some of those who commend themselves. How often do you hear a person say, I'm smarter, richer, or more powerful than you? I'm a better Christian than you. This is not something we hear. We commend ourselves, or we think through privately where we stand in the world's pecking order. Paul lets us know that this is simply pointless and wrong. He said when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves, what do they have? They have no understanding. This is another way of saying you have no foundation on which to compare. How about this? I'm trained in science and statistics. If a person looks around and says, well, that person drives a fantastic car, so that person says they are Christian and they drink alcohol, so this is the dynamic Paul is addressing. I would call it an N of 1 statistically. I have one comparison and I base my decision on a perception that is too small to make any difference. I cannot even know if, for example, this car that I mentioned is leased or the person is about to lose it for non-payment. Who knows? Paul lets us know this is wrong on a couple of levels. We cannot know how accurate our musings are. Or most importantly, we compare ourselves on a worldly basis, which is not who we are as a believer in Jesus. Worldly comparisons are not of God. So if you're saying, I would never compare myself to a worldly, unbelieving person, I know better, but I would like to be more productive in serving the Lord, so yeah, I may compare that way. If that's true, we need to get over ourselves. God is sovereign. He gifts each of us, and to whom more is given, more is expected. God knows. We need only stand in His Word, do our best to keep His commands and serve Him, apply our gifts, and listen to the promptings of the Holy Spirit. You'll be blessed to do this. Have a wonderful day. Take care.